I used to have a gerbil, a pet gerbil,
Yeah.
and he used to chew the bars,
Yeah.
wanted to get out. And sometimes I would take him out and hold him in my hand, and I think he liked that, I don't know. And then I would put him back in. But he'd still go, as soon as I put him back in, he would chew the bars again. And I remember once, I just opened the cage and said, "There you are." And he had the table and quite possibly the whole room if he fell off the table.
Yeah.
And I remember him thinking, "Oh my God, the door's open of the cage." And he sort of put his head out and he was like, "Oh, I don't know." And eventually he crept out down his little ramp onto the table. And as soon as there was any noise, he would zoom back into his cage because he was really worried about being out on this massive table. But over a period of a few weeks, he got more and more brave. And I put little runs so that, little bridges so he could get across onto the shelf and everywhere. And by the end of probably a month or two, he was going around my whole room and he just lived in my whole room and he would go back to his cage to sleep. But it took a long time for him to get acclimatised to all the extra freedom. And when I just opened the cage to start with, he just didn't know what to do. And in fact, he could have just legged it, come out of the cage and just disappeared. And I think it's the same, isn't it? If you say to employees, suddenly, you're in charge of everything, do whatever you like, you'd have mayhem. They wouldn't know what to do. They'd probably be frightened or not even want to come out. So what you've done is you've done it step by step.
Yeah, but if that's a human thing, right? It's not. It's not whether you're an employee or not. I mean, if I try a new job around the house, if I try a bit of plumbing, I might try changing washers on taps first of all. I'm not going to say, well, let's get all this tubing out and start again.
Yeah,
it's too much. It's too much. I don't know.
Yes,
and I'm frightened of getting a giant flood.
Yeah, I would be.
So and especially with your home, it's a big disruption if you create mayhem. But it's also mayhem if you create that sort of disruption in your job.
It's clever the way you did it one step at a time. I mean, each step must have felt fairly big mayhem, like getting rid of the stores or let them do their own purchasing.
Yeah.
But at least those were manageable steps that you took.